6 o'clock. I will call the City of Allegan City Council meeting for Monday, July 28th, 2025 to order. And can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Zeter.
Present.
Councilmember Westover.
Here.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Canales.
Here.
Councilmember Hooker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hands.
Present.
Mayor Perigo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Moving down to agenda item number 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you are able, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm moving down to agenda item 4A is approval of the regular council meeting agenda for July 28th, 2025. And can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for today.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda item number 5A is approval of the regular council meeting minutes from July 14th, 2025. I am not aware of any corrections, but can I get a motion?
I will make a motion.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any corrections? All right, seeing none, they will be approved as written. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5B, approval of the closed session meeting minutes from July 14th, 2025.
We are passing those down right now, Mayor.
Once you're finished, if you would pass them back this way.
I'll make a motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes from July 14. Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're going to move down to agenda item 7A, which is a request to hold a first reading of Ordinance 530 to rezone 650 Grand Street and schedule a second reading and public hearing for August 11th, 2025. And does staff have a presentation?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor. Last Monday, City Council received an application from Community Action Agency of Allegan County. They have recently acquired 650 Grant Street, also more commonly known as the United Way Building, out there on M222, just west of the airport and the entrance to the industrial park. The area is master planned for mixed industrial commercial. Their long-term plan is to create a family empowerment center out there. So that will host their Head Start / early education operations, food distribution, community classrooms, et cetera, administration offices, and all that stuff. We've been working with them on this project for probably a year on this site, helping them find land throughout the Allegan area, probably the past 3 or 4 years. The long-term vision is once they get settled in at the new place, they will then sell the property they own in downtown Allegan, and hopefully we can have that demolished and then build a multi-story apartment complex there to increase housing in Allegan, in the city of Allegan. So this is a first reading tonight. It is a rezoning request, so it will be rezoned from the multiple zone districts it is right now, which is residential, industrial, and commercial, to PUD, planned unit development. And then with that, there is a development plan that's also attached that was reviewed by the Planning Commission. So tonight's the first reading and scheduling the public hearing for August 11th. Any questions for staff?
Any questions from council? No, so Councilperson Westover and myself, we serve on planning. So we were, I don't think anybody's here in the audience tonight from Community Action, but they were at planning and they did a great presentation. Lakeshore Construction was also with them. And I don't know if you said this or not, Joel, but I know it was in our packet. They got a grant of, what is it, 4.5 million or 4.3 million, I can't remember. And so this is just, I think it's great to have this central in Allegan County to support families. So, yeah. And nothing from council then? All right. We'll move down to agenda item number 8.
Can I
or
get a
number-
motion
no,
and support
sorry.
to
I
have the
forgot
first
about
reading?
that part.
I'm with
I
you.
was just-
Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion?
You need a motion to move it to a second reading
And
and
a
hold a
public
public hearing.
hearing,
Okay,
yes.
I will make that motion.
All right.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, is there any other discussion on this? Nope. Okay, now we'll move on to agenda item number 9, which is public comment. If there is anyone here that has public comment for items that are or aren't on the agenda, please come forward, state your name at the podium, and we have a 3-minute limit just to allow for enough time for all the comments. So I will open that up now. All right, I am not seeing any public comment, so I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 10A, which is a presentation from Lakeshore Advantage regarding their 2024 activities in Allegan and economic development.
Good evening. My name is Mandy Cooper, and I am the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives at Lakeshore Advantage, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening. I was going to say, Joel, do you need me to rewind? We got it, okay. Hopefully you can all see the presentation. So I'm here, first of all, to thank you for your partnership. We've really enjoyed working with the city of Allegan for, I think technically it's been since 2018 that we've actually contracted with the city of Allegan, and have just appreciated the fruitful relationship with your staff, your local businesses, and so it's a privilege to be able to share a little bit about what that looks like. I wonder if I have it upside down. There we go. A few of you I've met before, you've seen me before, a few are new faces. So let me start by just providing a high-level overview. Lakeshore Advantage is the nonprofit economic development organization that serves Ottawa and Allegan counties. We have a 16-member team, we're led by a 20-member board, and our mission is to ensure a healthy economy here on the Lakeshore where people want to live and work now and in the future. So that's what our job is. And so tonight I'll share a few examples of how we do that. The number one thing I always like to start with is by pointing out we really focus on our primary employers as the catalysts for a healthy economy here on the Lakeshore. And when we talk about a primary employer, we are talking about a specific kind of business. So a primary employer is a business that exports more goods and services outside of the region than can be consumed inside of the region. So an example would be a manufacturer or a tech company that's selling maybe out of state, maybe out of the country. Those dollars that are paid for those services and products come back here to the Lakeshore, to the city of Allegan. They get spent here. They provide valuable tax base for your city. They often are valuable philanthropic dollars, kind of the tip of the spear on philanthropy. And obviously, they provide really well-paying jobs. Typically, primary employer jobs pay higher than other industries. So for Lakeshore Advantage, when we're talking through kind of our work, keep that in mind. When we say employer, that's who we're talking about. The first way we enact our mission is by working to grow that primary employer base, primarily through business retention and expansion efforts. So here in the city of Allegan, we have 12 primary employers identified. So again, mostly manufacturers. Our goal is to make sure we're connecting with them on a regular basis. We don't connect with everyone every year. I think this year we connected with about 8 of them. This past year, we kind of alternate, otherwise we'll drive them crazy by checking in all the time, as well as be a resource for them when they have a need. So our goal is to make sure they can stay here, grow here, thrive here, to add jobs, to increase their tax base, et cetera. So in the past year, we had 31 interactions in the city of Allegan with those employers. Just for comparison's sake, there's around 250 to 300 probably closer to 250 primary employers in Allegan County itself. Across the whole region, that number goes up to 700 to 800. So we have a lot of employers we're trying to stay connected to. In the past 2 years, as a result of our work with some of those employers, we've had 2 expansion projects. The most recent one I'll talk about in a second, fabricated components and assemblies, representing $2 million in private investment. We also help those employers secure $1.4 million in Going Pro training funds. Those funds are to help employers invest in their employees so that they can get a credential that's transferable, to pay for apprenticeships, on-the-job training, et cetera. Really important for employers who may not otherwise be able to offer those upskilling opportunities, and also resulted in 15 new and/or retained jobs. I mentioned fabricated components. So this is an example of a type of project we work on frequently. So this project was an expansion, a 12,000 square foot expansion, $1.1 million of private investment. Oftentimes, when you hear about company expansions, you see the headlines and it's all the big companies, when the reality is 80% of our work really is for the small to mid-sized employer. They're the ones who need us most, who really need help when they have an opportunity to grow. Another way we've been really working to help our region is by utilizing state funding for strategic site readiness. So when we ask our employers about what their barriers to growth are, one of the top barriers that has been listed for the last few years is lack of industrial space. So if an employer gets a new customer or they want to launch a new product and they need to build a new manufacturing line, they need to expand their facilities, unfortunately, there's not a lot of property readily available for them to do that. And that's true all across both Ottawa and Allegan counties. The properties that are available typically have some issues. Maybe they have wetlands or they don't have access to utilities. And so one of our priorities is to work with our local unit of government partners to identify where there could be industrial development with the right support. So maybe if a utility extension could happen, or maybe there is environmental work that could be done in advance, so that when an employer is ready to grow, instead of maybe having to wait 18 to 24 months for those things to be put in place, they could get in the site in closer to 12 months. And that can be the difference between an employer staying and growing here and having to go to South Carolina or Texas or someplace else where there are sites that are ready for them. Right now, when we look at our project pipeline, so again, we say project pipeline, that means the number of possible expansions or new primary employers locating here that we are aware of across both counties. We have 15 projects that we're actively working on, representing $562 million of investment. 8 of those projects are in Allegan County right now, which is exciting. I will say our project pipeline is a little softer than we've seen in the past couple of years, and we're seeing projects still moving forward, but at a slower pace. So there's some caution in the market we're feeling, but we still have a lot of interest. Most of these, I think all but 1 or 2 are actually expansion projects, meaning these are existing employers here. Often there's this perception economic development is only about attracting new companies in, and really about 90% of our work is with our existing companies. And then we also work to solve economic challenges and identify opportunities. So again, I'm just going to touch on a few examples. The absolute top barrier to growth that we've heard for the past 10 years is access to talent for our employers, particularly in high demand positions. These are 4 of the high demand positions we are aware we need to make progress on in the next 5 years in order to meet what our employers' needs. So skilled trades, engineering of all kinds, industrial technicians, and software and systems. And so this past year, we did a survey of young professionals, 18 to 34 plus, who are in these high-demand careers, and we asked them, hey, we know in order for us to secure our economic future, we need you to stay here, we need you to work here, we need you to plant your families here, et cetera. So we asked them a series of questions about what do you like, what do you dislike, what's a barrier to you staying here and locating here. And here are a few of the top takeaways. There's a lot more. The likes weren't a surprise to me. They were the same things I probably would have said, even though I am solidly outside that age group. Access to Lake Michigan, proximity to family, outdoor recreation, sense of safety. The dislikes, or the things that get in the way of them locating or staying here, cost of living, low pay, specifically related to housing. And I really want to stress that housing came through loud and clear as a barrier that they said, you need to do something about this. Lack of inclusivity, diversity, and then lack of job, career, and advancement opportunities. And again, this is what they told us when we asked, what are the barriers? Things like that last one, lack of job, career, advancement opportunities, we think that's a visibility issue. We believe those jobs are here and that there are incredible career opportunities here, but we think we need to do a better job of letting them know that and showing them how they can be successful. And then finally, we're always looking forward and planning for long-term economic health. So I think we had just announced this last year, but we worked with our regional economic development partners to secure funding for placemaking here in West Michigan, and we're able to support $160,000 in RAP funding for Mahan Park improvements. We also know that in order to secure an economic health, we need to not just be thinking about our talent pipeline, but our business pipeline, and make sure we support entrepreneurship in our next generation of businesses. So this year we opened a permanent business incubator. It's located in downtown Holland, and we have to be located there because the Smart Zone is there. On the lakeshore, that's where the Smart Zone is located. So a Smart Zone is a geographic area determined by the state of Michigan that you can use some tax increment financing dollars to support entrepreneurship. So we had to locate there, but it's a really incredible opportunity for any startup in our region. So if you know anybody who has a product idea, a tech company idea, those are kind of the two main things we can support with that funding. Please send them our way. We have programming, we have access to resources, we have mentors, coaches, people that can provide legal advice, marketing help, all of those things. And in the past year, we were able to do that for 67 startups and help them secure $2.7 million in capital. And then finally, I wanted to touch on two upcoming events. They're events and initiatives. The first one is a regional outdoor recreation asset mapping project. So this is something we're right in the thick of. I have nothing to present on it yet other than to tell you kind of what we're doing. We received funding along with our West Michigan Economic Development partners to asset map the manufacturers that really support the outdoor recreation space in particular, because there's a belief that, hey, this is actually one of the special attributes of our manufacturing community here on the lakeshore, but we didn't have a lot of data to back that up. So we're working right now with our partners to identify those companies and feed that into a full West Michigan map. That was actually funded directly from a specific grant from the state of Michigan, so we're working on that right now. And then another real big one that impacts the city of Allegan in particular is we have our biannual Developer Day coming up on August 7th. So every other year, we host a Developer Day where we bring our development and construction partners along all together, put them on a bus, drive them around and show them some of the incredible opportunities for development here on the lakeshore, show them some of the development already underway, give them a vision for what can be done, and also provide a kind of a sneak peek behind the curtain of communities that are saying, hey, we're ready for development, we're here to work with you. We have 58 local units of government that we support. We had to pick 5 to visit this year. Allegan has the honor of being the only one that's getting a second visit, because we actually visited Allegan on the first developer day 2 years ago. The difference is this year we're focusing on housing and mixed-use commercial development. So as I mentioned, we know housing is an incredibly high need, especially when we're looking to attract and retain talent. We also know there are opportunities here in Allegan County that some developers just aren't aware of. And so again, we're putting them on a bus, we're going to take them around, show them a few of those sites, and invite them to consider investing in our local communities. As a nonprofit, our funding really is locally driven. Often, when I talk to folks about how we're funded, they say, oh, you must get a lot of state funding. Actually, economic development in the state of Michigan is almost entirely funded by local companies and local units of government. The state does not provide any significant ongoing funding for economic development on its own. So 60% of our funding comes from the private sector. So when I say that, we're talking about our local companies here across the Lakeshore. We have around 120 to 30 local companies that invest in our work. And then 40% comes from our public sector partners. That's always our target, at least. So, and that includes our local units of government as well as our county partners. And sometimes we get state grants, as I mentioned, like the recreation asset mapping stuff that also will feed in for specific types of work. And that's my presentation. As I mentioned, we really are grateful for the partnership. We get to meet with Joel on a quarterly basis officially, and then as needed, sometimes every other week, sometimes every 3 weeks, sometimes weekly, to talk about, hey, here's the opportunities. We're out visiting your businesses and really here to be a support for the community. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. You don't have to.
All right. I don't see anybody has anything.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right, I will move down to agenda item 10B, which is a presentation from Huntington National Bank Investments regarding the city's investment portfolio. I'll invite them up.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Again, this is Jamie Hebe-Brand. I handle the investments for the city and just kind of want to give a walkthrough of the portfolios along with give a little economic update and answer any questions that you all have. Let me see. There we go. Perfect, thanks. So this right here is the Federal Reserve dot plot chart. This gets updated quarterly by the Federal Reserve members. It was last updated in June. And really what this shows is it represents every voting member of the Federal Reserve. If they were to pick where they wanted short-term rates, they put on the dot plot chart where they think rates should be. Overall, big picture, this slide right here basically shows that the majority of voting Fed members in June believe that the Fed will still cut rates twice before year end. Right now, short-term rates are between 4.25 and 4.5, with the likelihood that the Fed will cut rates sometime over the next year. If we move to the next slide, this right here is the Fed futures slide. This is with the largest market participants buy futures contracts on. Essentially, they're on the same page with what the Federal Reserve is stating in terms of short-term interest rates. Right now, the Fed will be meeting again this week. The likelihood of the Fed cutting rates this week is less than 4%. As of last week when this was created. If I pulled it today, it would be less than 2%. So the Fed is not expected to lower rates this week. There is a 60% chance, it was just over 65% chance as of today, that the Fed would cut rates at their September 17th meeting. If not, then they'll cut rates at the October meeting. Again, things could change between now and these next Fed meetings, but right now, projections are showing a total of 4 rate cuts over the next 12-month period. The Fed will continue to watch unemployment and inflation overall. They want inflation to get down to the 2% target. Overall, when you look at the economic data that comes in, along with the economists and what they're saying, they believe that it's going to take into 2027 in order for inflation to get to that 2% target that they're wanting to achieve. One of the things that we did with the city this year that's new is set them up with the Huntington liquidity portal. The Huntington liquidity portal houses multiple government and treasury-only money market funds on it. This right here is a quick snapshot of all the funds that are available to the city that are Public Act 20 compliant. All these funds are same-day liquid to and from the city's deposit accounts. Right now, the city has funds in an account between State Street and Invesco yielding 4.2%. And this is, again, liquid funds that may be needed for cash flow to pay bills and so forth, but it's just a nice way to pick up yield versus just leaving it in a standard money market account within the bank. This right here just provides a quick snapshot of the various funds. There's just over, call it 6.5 million total sitting liquid between these government and treasury funds. And again, they're very safe funds. They all have a net asset 0 of 1, meaning every dollar that gets put in is a dollar you get back, and you get a interest payment on the very last day of the month. So as of the July 22 snapshot, those were the principal balances and accrued interest as of that point. Interest, again, will get paid on the very last day of the month and reinvested back into the fund. Joel and Tracy both have access to the liquidity portal, and they can move funds out of here back to the linked deposit account all the way up until 4 p.m. each day. So if needed, funds can be pulled in or out up until 4 p.m. This right here just provides a quick snapshot of the general fund the city has, totaling just over 2.1 million. It's laddered with maturities into 2026 all the way out to 2030. And we'll continue to reinvest accordingly as securities mature. This is the capital asset fund. This is the fund where there's an annual transfer that gets made out of it each year based on the interest earned over the year, gets sent back between the reserve account and the general fund on the bank account side. There was a maturity that happened on the day I sent this report along with today. The funds were reinvested again. Today's reinvestment and last week's reinvestment were reinvested at 4.25 and 4.26 out into a November treasury bill. Funds will continue to be available for that transfer after July 1st. That will be needed again next year. Capital reserve account just has one position in it. These are funds that you're not really tapping into, and the funds were invested last year out into a long-term T-note in the amount of $222,000 that will mature in August of 2034. And then lastly, these are the sewer funds. There's a maturity in August of this year, and then the rest was invested out long-term into 2030 of next year, 2030 into a government agency bond. And that's the overview. What questions do you have regarding your investments?
I see in the slide there, it's a little confusing because that's different than our report for the capital sinking. because it only shows T-bills on your slide here, but in our report, we have a bunch of CDs as well in the capital sinking, so which one is it?
This is the capital asset.
Our restricted fund.
The capital reserve or
2.7.
capital asset?
Capital asset. Oh, okay, I see the reserve up there, yep, and then, okay, yep. I'd have to see if our capital reserve has the same restrictions as our capital sinking, is the question I think that we're still having.
Yeah, that's the question. So, Peter, what you're asking, and this is for all of council, was a question on our city charter. Pull that open real quick. So, in our charter, section 14.8, and it refers to the capital asset improvement sinking fund. The total cumulative amount that may be invested or reinvested with any single institution at one time, except in bonds or other direct obligations of the United States of America, shall not exceed $500,000. So the report that Tracy put together for the council, and you can find that on page 26 of your packet, lists all the CDs and money market and the government bonds that we have with Huntington under our capital capital sinking one. And when you total all those up, it's well north of 500,000. It's 2.7. So we have an email into our city attorney just asking for clarification, because it is historically, before Tracy's time, the sinking fund was always invested in with one institution.
Yeah,
It's broken into several different CDs, but that's something we're looking into.
Yeah,
And can you go back a few slides, Jamie?
absolutely.
Because I think and Mayor Pro Tem Hans, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we look at this one right here, those descriptions are not lining up with the descriptions that we see on page 26 of the packet, is where the confusion, I think, might be coming in. Is that correct, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, because I see our reserve fund, 271,000, and then the sinking fund, which is the heavily restricted fund at 2.7 mil, which is the correct amount, but see a bunch of CDs. Well, the main question I would have is, in this, are those CDs all Huntington CDs, or do you diversify out to other institutions?
They're other institutions,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
they're
that-
all covered.
That's what
That's what
we're
I'm,
saying.
because as long as it's less than the 500K,
Bingo.
to one CD, to one institution, or to combined.
Yep.
To one institution is what I was just asking, and as long as those CDs are out into other institutions, then there's probably no issue.
They're in multiple institutions, and each institution has their own FDIC coverage, so they're covered.
My description is just because I'm getting the
Yep.
statement from Huntington.
From Huntington, so Tracy just puts Huntington under the bank name because it's coming from Huntington, but as you can see there, it's all different ones, so.
Yeah, there was one in Flagstar, one in Morgan Stanley Private Bank, two in JP Morgan, and they're all under that 500,000 threshold.
Yeah, sounds good.
So do we still need the attorney to opine on this, or can I
No,
save the
that's
city
what
some
my
money?
main question was, because I just saw Huntington CDs and it was over a 500,000 cap and going. And I know, since your investment, it's just like my Schwab account, I can go out onto the market and grab CDs wherever I want. And I figured that was probably the case, because I remember your last presentation, you were
Yeah.
well aware of our restrictions.
Absolutely.
Can we also understand a lot of in that same page 26 on the capital asset funds, a lot of the market values of the CDs are under the book value. Some aren't, but a lot are. How is that market value relating to this?
So these CDs, or they're actually CDs and government agency bonds. Those were bonds that were purchased back in 2020, 2021. If you look at the coupons next to them, for example, if we look at the JP Morgan, the one that's going to mature on February 17th, that was actually purchased on February 17th of 2021. And at that time, rates were at 0.75. And so bonds are going to fluctuate and change value based on that coupon. And so with interest rates rising over the last 4 years, that's why the market value is lower than the actual par amount that was purchased. it'll continue, it'll mature at the par value, so that, for example, if we look at that JP Morgan, that market value that showed 245, 612.50, that market value dollar is gonna continue to go up the closer it gets to the maturity date. The thing that you wanna know, at the city is as long as you hold your securities to maturity, you get your full par amount back, plus all the coupon payments and or interest payments that you're due. But the market value will always fluctuate based on where the market's at.
And Will, I think the problem with page 26 is my report is just showing the cash value as of 6/30 with the liquid accounts. It's not showing the actual, the starting amount. So I need to change the way that I print these reports. If you're looking at the liquidity portal and the Michigan class part,
Oh, no. So like okay, I see, on the end of page 26, I see. Okay, well, maybe I can sit down with you. You can explain it further.
yep.
Yeah, the ones, the last two positions that were reinvested over the last year, those ones are the ones that are sitting above the market value by a little bit, and that's just because it was reinvested and rates haven't really moved over the last 12 months, so the market value is gonna hold pretty close to the par value with those two. Any other questions?
I'm good. Looks like we
Okay.
have some stuff to invest here shortly, since one should be maturing actually today, which was the Morgan Stanley.
Yep, and we reinvested those today, Tracy and I did, into a T-bill at 4.26%.
A lot better than the 0.6, so.
Exactly. A lot of clients I work with are very happy to get those less than 1% coupons off their portfolio. It makes it a lot nicer to look at, so.
All right, I see no other questions up here. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Right, moving down to agenda item 11, reports from boards, commissions, and city offices. 11A1 is a review of the July 2025 Wellhead Protection Plan Committee. That one I'll take. At the last council meeting, we had just had this meeting, so I kind of gave a little bit of an update. Last time I talked about the interpretive signs that are in the works. One will be behind mugshots looking across at the water plant, and then one on Riverfront Plaza, kind of an Allegan water cycle. That sign will have on it. We reviewed past events that we've had, Bridge Fest, 4th of July, talked about the water hydration stations, which have been a hit in the city on these hot days. Reviewed upcoming events, county fair, Christmas parade, reviewed the Eagle Grant application, and then the abandoned well research in the Wellhead production area continues. And Doug's making me nervous because he's right here. Any questions? No? All right. Okay, 11A2 is review of the July 2025 Planning Commission meeting, and Councilmember Westover.
Thank you, Mayor. The Plan Commission meeting, we discussed the rezoning of 650 Grand Street, which we talked about earlier tonight. We also discussed the subcommittee letter to the Allegan Township. 3 main points on there were maintaining our agricultural needs while meeting modern needs, regional housing shortage, and supporting our shared economic and cultural center. Thank you, Mayor.
11A3 is review of the June 2025 Fire District Board meeting, and Councilmember Walker.
Yes, we had 45 incidents in June, 140 hours, Allegan City, 168 for Allegan Township, 13 for Cheshire, and 15 miscellaneous townships. We're still waiting on estimates to fix the roof. That's not finished yet. August 23rd is the pancake breakfast, and at noon it switches to spaghetti. So I invite everyone to come on out and support the fire district. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Move down to the next agenda item for discussion tonight is 11C Water Utilities. 11C1 is a request to approve PO 26-0827 in the amount of $47,786.25 to Waste Recovery Systems for sewer cleaning and televising in the Grand Street, Water Street, and Rossman Park neighborhoods. And staff?
Yep, I'll handle this. Water Utilities Director Doug Spears is in the audience, and if he has stuff to add, he may come to the podium. But council tonight is a purchase order for us to contract with Waste Recovery Systems to televise and, if needed, clean several sanitary sewer mains that are a part of upcoming construction projects. So as I stated in the report and what you saw in the packet, this is work that we do now because lining sewer mains is cheaper than replacing sewer mains. So getting our eyes inside the sewer mains is gonna hopefully save us some money down the road as we move forward into construction projects. Abin Marsh, our engineer of record, is breaking this into 3 different projects or 3 different phases. The first phase are the main mains in the Rossman Park neighborhood, highlighted in pink on the screens behind you. The second phase are what we call the ends of the mains in the Rossman Park neighborhood. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of that slide, the sewer main that goes along the top of the ridge where the Kalamazoo, that's not the Kalamazoo River, but the top of that ridge goes there behind those properties. And then also down on the top left-hand corner towards the 2nd Street Bridge. Those mains in Marshall Street and going across the bridge there are going to get televised. And then the third phase is 2 separate pipes. One is the Water Street main. This main is an older main. It ducks and weaves behind several buildings along Water Street and then into the Village Market parking lot. We have a little sinkhole that has nothing to do with the city's sewer main in that general area right now. But we feel this is a good time for us to look at, the condition of this pipe and if it's a candidate for lining. And then also the Grand Street sewer main is part of this as well. You will notice in the packet, the purchase order, the quote for televising is $12,656.25. However, if we are going to be doing some cleaning, because we're going to notice some roots or other things that have to be addressed in this, that is what the additional costs would be, and that is why we have them set up as not to exceed bid. So if we had to clean the entire pipes, that's where you could come into that total of $47,000, I believe it is, $47,786. Any questions for staff?
Yes. Is it a part of this year's plan for the sewer department to add their own camera system?
Doug, want to come up and answer some of these questions? Sorry I made you come in on medical leave.
No, you're fine. I won't miss it anyways. The sewer department is purchasing a push camera, which is a smaller one, push by hand. It would not do what is being proposed in this purchase order. And we do have one for the Vector truck, but it is nowhere equipped or adequate for this type of work.
Okay, is it far from it? Is that something we should look at?
Well, so Councilmember Walker, I would advise council, and I'd push back a little bit, even if we have the tool, we don't have the staff capacity. The distribution and collection crew are in the midst of doing lead service line replacements, and we need to keep them focused on that. Contracting out televising, regular televising, which this is considered regular televising, is, a best management practice for, municipalities that own the public water and sewer systems. To take staff off like like right now, we have a water main break at North and Main. The road, that intersection is dug up, so Councilmember Hooker, when you drive home this evening, you'll have a very big pothole to dodge because we've noticed an issue. And so to invest in that kind of equipment, it stops us from dealing with our day-to-day work that we have to do. And I only cut Doug off because Doug likes to buy things as well, so.
In response to your answer, a truck
If it
and
makes
camera
sense.
system is probably a couple $100,000.
And then you gotta maintain it, right?
Would have to have a specially staffed
Gotcha.
person that is trained for that.
Okay, all right.
It's an expensive camera. Is there other questions? Yeah. Any other questions on this topic from council? All right, thank you, Doug. Okay, there is a request in front of us. Can I get a motion to approve PO 26-0827?
I'll make the motion to approve PO 26-0827.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion amongst council, comments? Seeing none, all right. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to the next agenda item, 11E1 is a request to approve accounts payable and payroll.
All right. It's requested that the city council approve accounts payable in the amount of $825,364.40 and payroll in the amount of $148,625.43 for a total disbursement of $973,989.83. Make a motion to approve.
Can I get a support?
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any questions from council on the accounts payable and payroll? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E2 is review of the May 2025 Revenue and Expenditure Report. And who on staff is?
Sure, this is
presenting?
a typical report that we give to you that highlights where we stand at the end of each month. This is for May 2025. It's just requested that you accept it. There's no approval of it.
You don't need a motion to accept?
Yeah, motion to accept would be
Okay.
nice.
Can I get a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion, we accept the revenue expenditure report.
Second.
All right, did you hear that? Whichever one. All right, is there any questions on this one?
Yes, with a huge amount of information here, are there any topics or anything we should worry about that may be coming up that might be a concern? Maybe isn't a concern right now, but might be?
At this point, not in May, and to be honest, there's not really anything I'm concerned about even in June. There's a lot more adjustments happening in June because of the year end, and there'll be a lot of adjustments I'm making in June that are gonna be things that are being rolled over into 2020, fiscal year 2026, things that most of the things you should be aware of that were booked back into 2025, things that you guys approved to happen early, but nothing that you guys should be shocked about, so.
And just to soften the word adjustments, case in point, the Region Theater chiller system. That was budgeted for last year. It's still not up and operational because we need JCI to come in, add the glycol, get it started. we're not gonna do that until the cooling season is done, because it will shut down our current air conditioner for 3 days. So that's a project that's gone over 2 days. So Tracy's gonna have to go into the accounts and move a lot of numbers around with her fingertips. But it's nothing that should shock us at
Yeah.
all. The wayfinding signs we're gonna talk about later on today, that was originally budgeted last year. We pushed it onto this year. So she's gonna have to go in and move that kind of stuff around.
Yep.
So nothing like where it's an unexpected expense that council you haven't seen yet.
There's a lot of things that you'll see with Doug's projects that are a work in progress. There's things that, you know, I've got to figure out the amount that was spent through June 30th and the amount that's going to transfer over into, you know, this year, but nothing that should be a shock to anyone.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions or comments from council? All right.
You need a vote still.
I know, I was just gonna say, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E3 is a request to declare various equipment as surplus items and direct staff to sell the items at auction.
Thank you, Mayor. Every year, staff goes through our list of equipment and things that have value that cannot be scrapped. We have council declare them surplus, and then working typically through Miedema auctions, we auction them off. Majority of these are DPW equipment that still may have a useful life for some contractors out there. Sewer push camera, which we talked about a few agenda items earlier. And then 2 high-capacity multifunction, printers we have here in the basement at City Hall that are taking up space, and I would like them out of the City Hall storage area. We need council to make the motion to declare these as surplus.
Can I get that motion?
Make a motion to declare those items as surplus.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Questions, comments from staff about this agenda item? All right, I am seeing none. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E4 is a request to approve a contract with Weichert Realtors Platinum Group for realtor services.
Thank you, Mayor. At your previous meeting, City Council directed staff to come up with a process to sell the city's excess property. I believe it's around 7 or 8 parcels we have. Of those, really 3 right now are marketable that we could just go out on the market and accept bids. And as part of that discussion, council asked us to go out for bids and bring in a realtor to represent the city. City staff went ahead and we did an RFP, request for proposals. We did this for a 2-year period, just so we can have them in our back pocket and not have to go back to the well each time. And then we also asked them to present to us what they would charge in a percentage commission, not just for sales, but if somehow down the road a property comes for sale that the city wants to purchase, they could represent the city on that purchase. We had 2 bids come in. One was Weichert Realtors Platinum Group, and one was Coldwell Sneller Real Estate. Weichert Realtors was a 3% commission on sales and a 3% commission on purchases. Coldwell Banker was 0% commission on sales plus a $495 administration fee plus a 3% commission to their buyer's agent on sales. And then they did not address the purchases part of the RFP. Staff discussed the bids that came in. It is our understanding that Weichert Realty is a cheaper relationship at a straight 3%, where Coldwell Banker was 0% plus 495 plus 3% to the buyer, which is really 3% plus 495 every time we look at it. So it's our recommendation that we enter into an agreement with Weichert Realtors. Both of these agencies are well-known in the city, and we have no qualms with either of them.
All right, can I get a motion to approve a contract with Weichert Realtors?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Weichert Realtors.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Questions or comments from council on this agenda item? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E5 is a placeholder report regarding the approval of a purchase order for the construction and installation of parking lot identification signs. And then, it's a second line item, isn't it? Oh, sorry. 11E5 is then, this was an amended agenda then, isn't it?
We didn't amend the agenda.
Did not.
So,
We needed to amend the agenda at the beginning.
we actually don't have to amend the agenda.
Okay,
City council has the ability to, because it's a place, this is just a placeholder
placeholder,
report.
okay, so
Yeah.
now we have.
You have the report, the official report's in your hands, that was dropped off in front of you.
I didn't see that.
It was emailed out to city council and dropped off in front of you, so you can see all the information there.
Right, all right,
So I'm gonna go over the report,
okay,
and then council, feel free to flip through that packet if you have questions. The parking lot identification signs is part of our wayfinding signage program. City council began this process 2 years ago? 2 years ago, the city council at that time contracted with Guide Studio out of Cleveland, Ohio, to put together a wayfinding signage program. That wayfinding signage program identified the location of city gateway signs, vehicular trailblazer signs, pedestrian trailblazer signs, city amenity identification signs, and parking lot identification signs, amongst, there's probably a couple other types of signs in there that I am not recalling off the top of my head. That process involved a steering committee of staff, working with the Downtown Development Authority, and a steering committee of citizens that include representatives from the Public Spaces Commission, a couple city council members, as well as, various institutions in the city, including the school district. That wayfinding signage program plan was presented to the DDA. They recommended approval of it. It was then presented to city council, and city council approved the plan. We then began the process of setting aside funds in the annual budget process to implement parts of that plan. One of the top things that we felt we needed to do, and by we, I mean the city, including the Downtown Development Authority, was to install parking lot identification signs. So the DDA went back and we worked with Guide Studio to come up with construction drawings for all types of signs that we're gonna do, including the parking lot identification signs. We set aside a budget of $50,000 to do these 12 identification signs, and we sent the bid package out to 8 firms. 2 bids were received. One is from Sign Art for $30,225. Sign Art took the time to come down prior to the bid opening to meet with staff, to ask questions, and to see the different locations that the signs are gonna go in. Their bid package fully complies with the project, and they currently have a 10-year relationship with the city of Allegan through the Regent Theater. Valley City Signs also submitted a bid. Their total was $23,457.28. They did not meet with staff or communicate with staff. In their packet, they assumed direct bury into ground, and costs will increase if they have to place the signs into concrete. At least 2 of the signs we have will have to be placed in the concrete. And then the final price is based on field inspection. This morning in our department head meeting, we reviewed these bids again, and we felt that Valley City Signs is an incomplete bid, especially with the line that the final price is based on field inspection. The current budget, as I mentioned, has been set at $50,000, so the Sign Art still is well under what we've budgeted for this project. Staff is recommending that we issue the purchase order to Sign Art.
okay. So the request in front of council is to approve PO 26-0828 in the amount of $30,225 to Sign Art. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve PO 26-0828.
Thank you. Can I get a support?
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Are there questions from council to staff on this agenda item?
Yes. I'm a little unclear. So where is Sinar located?
Kalamazoo. I think it's,
They're based in Kalamazoo.
it's on the,
What about Valley? It's on there?
yeah, it's on.
Yeah, Valley City's Grand Rapids.
It's okay. Nothing in Allegan County.
Nothing in Allegan County. Or
Yeah.
none of if there is a sign company, they didn't bid on this project.
So it says there in our slide that we sent the original request for proposal out to 8 different firms. And of those 8, there were at least 2 based in Allegan County.
Okay.
And we did not receive bids from them.
So then, and no, I did not. I know you sent that out today, Joel, but I didn't look at the email.
That's okay. It was this afternoon when we got the report finally done.
The 30,000 then, sorry, is just the parking lot signs, parking signs?
Correct, yeah, it's 12 parking lot signs.
Okay. 50,000 is not just for the parking lot, though, it's.
50,000 is the identified line item for the parking lot signs based off what Guide Studio put together when they put their estimate together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was part of this, the wayfinding signage plan, was they put together a cost estimate for the project.
And then I know we are going to progressively add, that's our plan.
Very much so.
Yeah, the complete bid packet, or estimate, I guess I should say, from Guide Studio was just shy of $1 million for everything, gateway signage,
Roundabout signs.
roundabout signage, all that stuff. And it's very abnormal. They work with communities all over the country. It's very abnormal for any community to pull that off all at once. Everybody that they work with, 9 times out of 10, is taking this piece by piece over a 10-year period. So.
Okay.
Any other questions from council for staff? All right, seeing none, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, 11E6 is a request to approve PO 26-0825 in amount of $10,000 to Lakeshore Advantage for Economic Development Services.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier this evening, you received the annual update from Lakeshore Advantage. They are what I call the Economic Development Organization for Allegan and Ottawa counties. The city annually contributes $10,000 to Lakeshore Advantage for their services. As mentioned in the presentation, their focus is on primary businesses, and they work with the city on the business retention and resource, and they're also a resource for me for industry growth. There are 2 things I want to highlight this Developer Day. Yeah, we'll be the only community that they visit twice. They actually pull over, park, and I give a presentation, and I engage with their, construction and realtors that they bring into the community. I would say that Lakeshore Advantage is probably one, if not the largest megaphone in West Michigan for Allegan, the city of Allegan. They're always in contact with me. Yeah, we have scheduled quarterly required meetings I have with them, but there are times it is weekly I am calling Mandy or any of the other employees that are up there, requesting information, saying, hey, I have an idea, what do you think? And walking through things. When they did their entrepreneurial, Grand Rapids did a tech week thing, and then Lakeshore Advantage partnering with that organization, which I think was the right place, had a off-site hub over on the lakeshore, is what people call it here in West Michigan. And I got invited to just go and listen. So I got to meet a bunch of entrepreneurial spirited mind people and, kind of talk to them about Allegan and what it has to offer. And as, Mandy mentioned in her presentation, lack of industrial space, land, that is going to be our biggest hurdle as a community here in Allegan. We need to just be a little more aggressive on how we're going to, include that. We do have some land on the south side of the city near Corky's, north of 113th, but it is a very tiny parcel. Outside that, it's going to take cooperation with the township to find a way to grow our industrial footprint. The FCNA project that Mandy referenced, they didn't have enough land on their current site to expand. Thankfully, they were able to work with a neighbor across the road in the industrial park and expand over there. We do have some land that Unipac controls that's free at the end of by free, I mean, there's not a building on it. We're going to work with Lakeshore Advantage about having a conversation with them. What would it take for them to market this and grow this aspect? It's not a primary industrial use, but I've been told Allegan Water Services over by Vitale's, they're moving into the last available structure in the industrial park, which I get excited because it frees up land on Western/Lincoln/M40/M89 North, depending on what road you want to call it in that area, for commercial development, along there. So they really are a good resource for city staff. And so, this is why, when Perigo reached out to Allegan County back in 2017, 2018, and said, hey, Allegan County, you guys need to scrap your EDC program and work with Lakeshore Advantage, because that's who we work with. It was pretty easy for me to go to the council at that time and say, hey, they bring a different level of gamemanship to the, program here. So we've been given $10,000, I think, for a couple of years now, and that is what the request is. And by a couple of years, this will be the second year. Before that, we're about 6,400 or 6,200, I believe. And that is what a community of our size falls under with their formula. Any questions for staff on this?
All right, seeing none. Can I get a motion to approve PO 26-0825?
Make a motion to approve PO 26-0825.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any questions, comments from council?
Did we give the 10,000 last year, or was it a greater number?
We gave 10,000 last year.
Did we raise it last year?
Yeah, it was 6,200 before that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E7 is a request for approval of lot split for parcel 03-51-130-001-02.
Thank you, Mayor. At your June 14th meeting, or July 14th meeting, City Council passed a resolution to vacate the undeveloped Sherman Street right-of-way and sell the yellow shaded area on the screen to the new owner of the bowling alley property for a development they're planning. One step we forgot to do was to split that yellow shaded area from the parent parcel 51-130-001-020. So that's that red shaded area. So all this is, council, is you have to approve lot splits. So for us to complete that sale, we need to split this lot as shown on the screen.
All right. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. 11E8 is a request to adopt Resolution 25.24, amending the city manager contract.
Very quickly, in your packet is a resolution to amend my contract. City Council, per my contract, you can adjust my wages through the resolution process. You did my evaluation at your previous meeting, July 14th. During that evaluation, my score was 1.55, where 1 is the best and 3 is the worst. That's the average rating across all the council members over all areas that you evaluated me on. And then the amended contract includes a 4% wage increase.
All right. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 25.25?
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 25.24.
Support.
All right, so moved and supported. Are there any questions or comments from council?
I'll go over this again. When we were having discussions about the police department, you foregone a raise this year, and now you're jumping it back in.
I think as discussed in the meeting, what council talked about is this was the average wage, or, well, this was the wage increase for non-union members, and that's what was negotiated. I don't think Joel is going to respond. I don't know if anybody else has any questions, and Joel does not need to respond, I was gonna say. Any other comments from council?
No, I think that in our closed session, I think we went over everything and knowing that that's what was offered before, and we voted on this. So, that's all.
Does this take a vote, a roll call vote? It does not.
No, it's just a
Okay.
resolution.
All right. Any other comments, questions? All right, seeing none, there is a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We've got-
Nay.
all right, thank you. Motion passes. Moving down to the next agenda item is the agenda item 13 is the second public comment of the evening. If you have a public comment, please come to the podium and state your name and address, please. I am not seeing, I'm like, Brandon?
Hi, my name is Brandon Gahn. I live at 524 Marshall Street, just up the hill. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Lakeshore Advantage, just for a hot second. I've gotten to know their team for a while. They are an incredibly talented team, as Joel said. I do think that there is a reputation challenge with the businesses in Allegan with some of their entrepreneurial services. And I would encourage you all to publish or talk about their services for our small businesses, and how they can help entrepreneurs, especially in small businesses. I think that they could use the lift as far as their online services for entrepreneurs. I think there is a big opportunity for more entrepreneurship in Allegan. I think that is a big portion of how we could grow our economic base. In Allegan, I think Lakeshore Advantage offers services that could be beneficial to our community that we're not taking advantage of. I know that they're limited because of the location of where they are in Holland and their kind of innovation center that's there, which is very, very cool. But I definitely encourage you all to go check out their facilities, meet with their team, get to know them a little bit more, because I think the more that we interact with them, the more ideas that they could bring to Allegan could help benefit our businesses here as well. So I just wanted to support the work that they're doing, but also kind of encourage us to improve the relationship among our business community with their services. And that's it. Thank you.
Great. All right, I do not see any other public comment, so I will move down to agenda item 14, which is communications from the city manager. Anything, Joel?
Real quick. Last week, I was in Mount Pleasant for the Summer Michigan Municipal Executive Conference. There are a few things that I picked up when I was there that I'm going to bring back to Allegan. One of them, and not really trying to steal, Councilmember Walker, Councilmember Hooker's thunder here, but I heard from a lot of cities that just have like an open office city hall time, a couple times a month. And they go, we just get my cup of coffee. The city managers go, I just get a cup of coffee and I just hang out in the council chambers, and everyone's come in and shoot the breeze. They come in and shoot the breeze. And he goes, they just make themselves available. And, someone said, well, everyone knows how to call City Hall. He goes, yeah, that's how I used to feel, but to be honest, when you just said it's gonna be like open office hours, people show up. So that's something that I am working on to do a couple times a month. Right now, I'm leaning to do it on Tuesdays. second Tuesday at like 9 in the morning, and then the fourth Tuesday at 5 in the evening to capture both morning people and night people. And if we do it on Tuesdays, it'll be, the second and fourth will be right after council, second and fourth Mondays, and what happened last night kind of a thing, or what's coming down the pipeline. It's kind of fresh. So, council members, you're invited, if we can keep you under 3, to also hang out if you want to, but again, not trying to steal council member Hooker Walker's thunder on that, but I talked to enough city managers who are doing this, and there's enough positive stuff. Second thing, we are going to look at the idea of a City Hall 101 education series, where some communities call them, city leadership, behind the scenes, but it's a multi-week class once a week where, a group of people commit, around a dozen or so, commit to meet weekly and learn about city government. And each week they cover different things like water utilities, DPW, police, finance administration. We're unique here, our events. I'm still floored at the number of people that don't realize what it takes, for the city to put on the Regent Theater, the Griswold, and all the events. So it would be good to, share that with them. And who knows, hopefully it can grow some more volunteers and people who want to run for council or be appointed to boards, et cetera. So those are 2 things that I took from that, that I'm hoping to implement here.
That's great.
And if you think they're horrible ideas, you're allowed to say they're horrible ideas, don't do that as well.
I
So.
really like the second one.
Well, may I, Councilmember Hooker and I would be definitely open for a buyout, Joel. You can take it over, that's just fine.
Your buyout
Or
might,
merger.
Like a
your
term,
buyout might be a
buyout.
cup of coffee or a beer, but that's about the amount of money I'm gonna give you.
All right. Okay, thanks, Joel. Moving down to agenda item 15 is roundtable discussion from council and mayor. Councilperson Canales, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. I'd just like to comment that over the past several weeks, I've had several customers from out of town come into my business and state how much they like the new downtown and the businesses and the restaurants, and so we're getting some really good positive feedback.
Councilperson Hooker.
Well, I helped organize sidewalk sales, and despite the weather, I think we had a pretty decent turnout. They had a scavenger hunt this year, and I think it was like 15 different stores and vendors participated, which was neat. It got a lot of people to go into things, which was really cool. Sitting at council table, when they brought them back, they got to spin for a prize and stuff, but them, everybody talking about all the cool things we had, eccentric garden. A lot of people didn't know about it. Got to go in and meet Robbie, and it was really cool. And I had a lot of comments too that I didn't realize this was I haven't been here a long time. The victim services booth, a lot of them were from out of town and hadn't been down here in a while. So keep up the good work.
Great. Councilperson Walker.
The same, but I heard real good feedback Saturday. And also oddly met a lot of people out of town. And I know that we've got something, maybe the communication thing for the council, but I know for next year we'll work on that. And thank you, Peter, also for staffing. That's it.
Councilperson Westover.
I am all set, thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilperson Zeter.
I'm all set.
All right, and Mayor Pro Tem Hans.
Just a couple things. The billiards around the air conditioner, that's just a fence. I was wondering, are we actually going to provide protection to our $100,000 air conditioner? Because we talked about it before, and you said those were getting installed, but right now it's just a fence that's attached to the ground with some bolts.
Yep, so we're referencing the new dumpster enclosure behind the Regent Theater area that houses the two dumpsters, the recycling and trash, with the same enclosure that matches the others throughout the downtown, and then the new chiller unit. And that needs that chain link fence so that the chiller unit can breathe, essentially. If we
Well,
were
I know there's a chain link fence, but I'm
Yeah.
talking billiards, which are in-ground bollards to
Oh,
protect it.
sure.
Right now, if a car went through that fence, it'll just go right into there because those wood is just attached with some 1/4-inch cement legs, and we
Gotcha.
talked about
Yeah,
billiards to actually
I follow. your
protect
point.
us from somebody accidentally doing like they did to our stand over here or to the tree. The
Yep.
Well,
kinda-
yeah, we will add that.
Yeah.
Then the only other thing is, I know we've updated our website. I was just looking through the Explore Allegan, seems a bit busy. If we could probably do something on that as well as to highlight parks and recreation. 'Cause a lot of people I still hear don't know that we have the sports complex, don't understand what's out there, don't understand what parks we really have and what are there. And when we go to our parks area, it just has a listing of the parks. There's no even pictures of the parks or what amenities really are there. And I just look, Explore Allegan's like 40 items here. It's, a lot of it's not even our stuff, it's outside of our stuff. Yet the residence area has the stuff about events, but not about our parks. So I'm just kind of, look if we can do something a little bit better on that in the future. And that'll be it.
I was just gonna ask about Ely Street. It looks like everything is down, maybe just painting
Yep,
and
yep.
that needs to be
Yep,
done?
painting has to be done and some minor touch-ups here and there, but it's on schedule and a smooth ride, I've been told. I've not ridden down it yet.
I went down it today, so looks nice. That is all I had. So it at 7:21, I will adjourn the council meeting.